Dumelang Mashiane Politicallyincorrect, June 16, ke dilo tša Tshwane. Re tshwere one of Tshwane's finest youth leaders of all time. Goat ya youth league, ne?
I'm not sure if GOAT is but yeah, definitely a veteran.
No one comes close. Goats youth league in the politics of Tshwane. I'm gonna ask you one thing, just off the cuff, it will break the ice. What is Gaddafi?
Ooh, the name Al-Gaddafi. Obviously, you know,
Brother leader.
the brother leader, Muammar al-Gaddafi of Libya. So that's where the name actually comes from. I was very fond of the African leader. I was fond of his policies from the Green Book and how he planned and had a vision of, you know, decolonizing Africa as a continent and actually building an African economy. So I was one of those who were outspoken about, you know, his brutal killing and how it was orchestrated, and obviously that's how, you know, the name grew in me.
It's a beautiful combat name. Allow me to say now that because we're talking about it, there's a resolution for no-fly zone. Someone who was once your leader at the time left, and now he was not involved in that. Maybe just give me your sentiment, because it's topical now.
Yeah, honestly, I feel the ANC at heart. I think in as much as we want to point fingers, we also have to point fingers at ourselves. What was the culmination? What got us to where we are today, and what got him to where he is today? Obviously, I don't agree with his approach. I don't agree with how he is, you know, at the very last moments, he just cancels, you know, all those years of, you know, dedication to the struggle and to the liberation of our people. Yeah, so I don't agree with his approach, but I'm saying what led him to where he might be today. For me, it's an issue that we can debate, you know, to say what did we or the ANC, my party, subject the old man to, you know, but also in terms of his own appreciation and understanding of how the ANC works. Every leader must appreciate democratic centralism in the ANC. When your time to rule is there, you rule. Those that have come before you must not interrupt, they must advise. When your time has ended, you must also accept. So I think on his side, it's one thing that he was unable to appreciate, because you can't lead from the grave.
And I'm going to give you another title. I'm going to call you Tintswalo. The reason I'm calling you Tintswalo is precisely because you are from a generation of young lions that called for generational mix.
Yeah.
You called for economic emancipation in your lifetime, and we are seeing it through the generation of the youth leaguers that you guys are doing. Someone interestingly said the generation of Ramaphosa comes to an end at 2026, and then Yabu Figile. You will understand when we say Bufigile, we are talking about the youth leaguers who made it fashionable to be in the youth league. Mm-hmm. And you come from that generation. You understand the youth better than most people who are in government now. And Ofagile, June 16, as as it goes, Ubetile black and white. Tell me, why did it feel important for you to gather the youth as you have done? And is it a fluke you're going to do it again?
No, definitely. It's a culture that we need to inculcate. Besides issues of, you know, uniting young people through sports and inculcating the spirit of social cohesion, you know, and keeping them away from social ills and a whole lot of wrong things. I think it's important for us to preserve the legacy. It's important for us to always remember where we come from. You know, any nation that does not appreciate and know where it comes from will not know where it's going. So it's important for these young people. Obviously, there's a bit of a disconnect in terms of the youth that came before Yabombalula, our youth, and obviously the current youth. There's a bit of a disconnect in terms of culture, you know, and a whole lot of things that they do that is different to us. But what we must never do is to disconnect and deny them the opportunity to appreciate their history. They need to understand what June 16 is about. They need to, even if it's not them who were in that epoch, but they need to relive that moment. They need to have an appreciation of what Peter Hectorson, for instance, went through, what the youth of that time went through, what actually pushed them to go into the streets and say, we are going to speak out against, racism and racial laws, and how, racial languages were being imposed on them.
You are sitting in the Council of Tshwane, and one of your responsibilities is of course roads and transport. What space and what innovations do you think are there for the taking that you would want to say the youth of Tshwane, Pretoria at large? Pretoria is very big. Your municipality is one of the biggest, not only in South Africa but in the world.
We have about 4-point-something million residents in Tshwane.
It's quite big. There could be certain innovations, and I know from the province, number plate and stuff. What are the things that you think this is a market that you encourage the youth to come and tap in, and you would support them because you understand the plight of the youth?
Yeah, it's quite a few. So one of the things that we are doing, and we're starting to do as the city, is that we go into universities. We are looking for a new pool of students. In my space, I'll be looking for civil engineers, those that are doing their final years, and we'll obviously do sort of incubator programs. But also, we as we go towards, we grow into becoming smart cities or building smart cities, we need to come along in terms of the innovation. So issues of intelligent traffic systems, management systems, is one issue that I'm very much excited about. As you've seen in the city, there's a lot of congestion. Everyone just parks wherever, Baba Ngobala or Baba Impounder, Metro Police, they do this, they impound their cars. So intelligent traffic systems for me. Parking bays for me. I think you've seen Cape Town, they do it so well. So you see a whole lot of young people in the streets, they park cars illegally, then we give them 10 rand. I want to formalize that space. We formalize them nicely. We give them a machine, everything. They allocate people parkings, they pay. And that's how I think it's some of the things that we will do. But like I've said, we are now tapping into universities in terms of, bringing them closer and helping us in terms of, advisory, the responsibilities that they can play. So it's quite a number of things. Others have come to me. They benefited through the Tsepo 10,000. They're able to produce asphalt on their own. So I'm seeing how I can bring them into the value chain, because constructing a road involves a whole lot of things. From the asphalt that must be produced, the human resource, in terms of laying out everything that needs to be laid out. What else do we do, Ghana, in when we build road? So there's quite a number of things, that it's a value chain. So we want to bring all these young people on board.
Of course, the basic impediment, Nakoya fela while you are still planning, and it's unfortunate. Yes, someone else comes, even if Omofa, a footprint with a good, clean, they'll come and do their own thing. Just because if it finishes, you're gonna say, but Kimufile and understand. So what are the plans that you guys have in the city of Tshwane to make sure that this ANC-led, and I say deliberately, this ANC-led coalition continues to control the levers of power in council, and of course they will dictate because of the power, which MMCs, they will say, we want Al-Gaddafi to continue with this one. We want maybe utilities to continue with this one because we've got big plans on this one, because it's going to disrupt what you say to the people. Because when you go to people, you tell them what you're going to do. And if you lose those things, people will say you are lying. So just your preparation for the elections 2026?
Yeah, obviously at the end of the day, it's still up to them who they vote for. But one of the things that, and you can quote me on this one, going forward. Tshwane, this current multi-coalition government of Tshwane will become the blueprint of coalition governments in the country. And we're deliberate about this because as Meiko, the 11 of us, we've sat down and we said, one thing we're going to do is that we're going to make this thing work. Not for us, not for me as a political party or another political party, but for the betterment of this city and its residents. So there are certain policies that we're also working on to say how do we streamline and ensure that even if somebody else comes in, for instance, I am responsible for the Wonderboom airport, which has been going from pillar to post for so many years. So I'm working on a structure that is going to be set to say this is a structure. Obviously, I can't announce it now, but this is a structure that we are setting up as the city of Tshwane. There's no individual who can just come or any other political party that can just come and do as they wish, because that creates instability. That also frustrates officials that are supposed to do the work. So for me, we have that understanding as the coalition. We've said, guys, despite our interests politically, let's put the interests of our people first. And I think we are doing our best to do that. And we are hoping, in fact, if it were up to us, we would continue like this for the next 5 years, so that we just get the basics right and not selfishly, of course, to say we might want to come back, even if it's not me, but in the form of the coalition parties. Even if it's not Tlangi who comes back, but somebody who understands the vision that Tlangi has, the vision that, MMC Maluleka has, the vision that Mayor Moyo has, so that's where we are in terms of appreciating the work before us and how we need to put aside party political interests.
Thank you. You spoke about Wonderboom Airport, one of the treasures of Tshwane.
Yes.
I mean, you count them with the power stations that are still there that you're still going to take advantage of. They say it's too commercial for us to see it as a passenger airport. I just want to check. If you get it to work for the people, what are we going to benefit at?
Yeah, nice one, team. Nice one.
I want to understand, are we going to benefit that side, or are we going to benefit when I need to go to Cape Town? I know I don't have to go to Lanseria or Tambo. How am I going to benefit if you get it to
That's
if you
the
get
plan.
it work? Yeah.
That's the plan. So that area is going to be what you call your transport nodal of some sort, where all other mobilities that happen in the city, they converge and they dispatch there. So the Gauteng is coming up with the speed train.
Yes.
So the speed train is going to pass by the airport. So you can imagine what we'll be doing there.
Brilliant.
Definitely, we are going to commercialize it. You will fly to Cape Town when you want to fly to Cape Town instead of going to Lanseria. That also helps us to minimize the unnecessary traffic.
That 21 is blocked.
So that asset there, it's a sitting mine that our people can benefit so much from. And that's what we are going to do. We're going to turn it into a strategic asset that not only benefits few individuals, but the people of Tshwane.
Last question. You talk about the unity that you have in the current council, and you're so confident to say you are going to be a blueprint for others to look at how your coalition works. Green,
Yeah.
do you bring them into cognizance when you talk? And do you think you can tame them if they come with those few seats that they come with?
Yeah, obviously, politics is politics. You can't predict the future. So some of these things, that's why we leave them to the leadership to decide on our behalf, because we've elected them at the NEC to lead us. So they decide for us to say, at this level, this is who you work with. At this level, this is who you work with. So that advice will come from them. But in our current political setup, you can't rule out anyone. You can't say, I don't want this, I don't want. So you go with what we call strategic collaborations. Those that you can collaborate with strategically, who understand and put the interests of the people first. It's people that will always get into a coalition with. I think that is the understanding of the ANC, and our leaders at the national level.
On a lighter note, I hear you've got a team, you've got an interest here. just declare Orata Mamo because you shouldn't be.
Ke ba rata ka moka, that's why we are.
No man, you've got one that you favor.
So it's a number of words.
It's your branch here.
So it's on my branches here.
So already.
Just 1-2-0 now. So very good young players, very capable. So yeah, I give a support, Mara give a support.
All right, Mashiane Politicallyincorrect, Tshwane Tlangi Al'Gaddafi Mogale. She's the MMC of Transport and Transport Link.
Roads and transport.
Roads and Transport in the city of Tshwane.
Pastrada.
Thank you very much, Tlangi. Thank you, bye.